Alright, this is going to be for the new Manticore users. Now, I've done videos on this, but I'm going to make this, give you a real-time video. For those that are following along. I'm not a favorite for the DS2 or a favorite for the Manticore. I'm a favorite for both of them, okay? If somebody pulled up in my driveway, or if my buddy pulled up and says, boy, I got this site, I want you to go hunt with me. If he told me, oh, but you've got to use the Manticore, you can't take that DS2. You think I would go? You're damn right. Or if he says, oh, you can't take that Manticore, you have to take the DS2. Would I go to that side with him? You're damn right. Okay. They're both very good. Okay. Now, you new Manticore users, I want you to watch this video. You don't have to apply this from the get-go. Okay. You can if you want to. This DS2 has got this, this Manticore has got this upper Ferrous limits on it, which is unlike the Equinox. If you're coming off of an Equinox, you could only adjust your F1 or F0, whatever it is. You can only adjust that. Well, you didn't really get, the only thing you got was a setting adjustment in the window. And then you would have to sweep the coil over some scenarios to see its effects. So, you could maybe draw a conclusion on what they were doing electronically with offering those settings and giving you those setting options. Okay? Here where maybe you can see this better. So you see the upper Ferrous limits there. I'm at 9. That's the default setting. Okay, so I'm down here, I'm in speed 6. All-terrain lower conductors. Alright, if you get your Manticore and you take it out of the box and you go hunt a sports field with default settings on this machine, speed 6 with an upper Ferrous limits number 9. You see that gold ring and that nail right there? Well, if you take your machine in default settings using an upper Ferrous limits number 9, you're going to hear that gold ring. That could be sort of deep with that nail laying beside it there sweeping as such. 6 inches deep, you'd lock right onto that. From over here, from anywhere between 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches deep, that's what you would hear. If you mash the horseshoe button, that's what you hear. You see where it's painting up there. Okay? So you might say, oh, if you hit that target out in a sports field, you'd say, oh, I'm not digging that. That don't sound very good. You've got your machine out of the box. You run a few tests. That's like what you want to hear a gold ring to sound like. So the folks at Mine Lab, we'll turn the horseshoe off. The Manticore. The upper Ferrous limits, they gave you some customization. See them down there? You get a custom 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, there's custom 1. Now, I done show some videos on adjusting some of the tones. I've not showed a video on how to adjust this as of late. Notice that doesn't look like that, does it? See? Straight line across the top, upper Ferrous limits number 9. That looks different, don't it? Now I'm going to use my left and right keys and I'm going to scroll across here. You're going to see that red line come up there. See what it says up there in that meter? 68. Now this is just a sharpshooter recommendation. You could change that number a little bit, but I think that's a pretty good place with the stock coil. Remember that. 68, and I have let that all, you got to let it all the way up to the top. See that box? She's open all the way to the top. Now it's not necessary, if you will notice, I've got it open to 86. Now you don't have to let it all the way out. You can just open it to 86 if that's what you decide to do. That's how I like to run it. So 68 to 86, I got rid of the upper Ferrous limits. Now remember, you're using this machine, so you could be using this machine in the different tones. So wherever that, since that is a 69 through 85 open, if you're using, for example, one region all tones, that's how the signal's gonna sound in that range. Okay, like a silver dime sound like. Okay, so you take this machine, maybe you've got a park or a sports field. Now I showed you before, now I've got this screen here intact in this machine. It's loaded into the program. All-terrain low conductors. Alright, so we heard that gold ring before with the upper Ferrous limits default of 9. But over here, we didn't do so well, did we? Watch what happens. You hear that? And notice where it's reporting up there. See it up there? And notice that high pitch. Now that's because it's reporting I'm running one region all tones. I think I'm telling you right here. One region all tones. So it's coming in there. You hear that? Boom! So notice where it's reporting. So you get on a signal in a sports field and you see it coming in that box up there, or it's trying to get into that box, and you hear that signal and you rotate. And you see that. And you see that ID come down. That would suggest with this machine you've come across a barrel of a nail perhaps, with a non-ferrous target laying beside it. Now I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to transition back to my upper Ferrous limits number 9. Again, you see what I got? I got nothing. But if I come over here, I've got that old gold ring. Now, I want you new Manticore users to understand something here. The old sharpshooter is going to tell you the truth. A day is 2 run conventionally. Sweeping like such is a no-go. An equinox sweeping as such is a no-go. Okay? Remember, that's a big old 11-inch coil doing what it's doing there. Okay? So what I'm saying, that could still be in a site that even a day is 2 man with a 9 or an 11-inch coil, they've come by like so and they kept on trucking. You walk up behind them with this, in that situation there, boom. Now, this won't work with wire, okay? This won't work with wire, but it does work with nails, gold rings, nickels, lower conductors. Now, if that was a pinhead piece of fall laying there where that gold ring is, would you hear it right there? And the answer is no. If that was a pinhead piece of fall, or smaller fall, and you came this way, you might hear it. And it would obviously give a lower ID perhaps. This could be a little secret weapon on this detector because a lot of your other model detectors won't hit that. Okay? From that sweep direction. You get out in a big old football field, a big old soccer field, a big old stadium, maybe a park. Now remember, when you give this, it's gonna be up there. If you don't want to dig it, don't dig it. If you don't want to turn on it, don't turn on it. Don't even use it if you don't want to. If you decide you start using this and you're like, oh, I don't like this, all you got to do is go back. Look how easy that was. Oh, I'm back in preset. Now let me show you this right here right quick. Upper Ferrous limit 7. That's a pretty good setup on this machine to push it in some iron, okay? Upper Ferrous limit 7, what does it do here? How about that? So you may decide when you get this machine, okay, well, my testing is showing upper Ferrous limit 7 is doing a bit more unmasking than upper Ferrous limit number 9. Well, on this situation right here, you are still SOL. Unlike the old sharpshooter way. See that? Listen. In mild to moderate ground, if that exists in the ground 5 or 6 inches deep, would you get what you're getting on it right here? Well, the sharpshooter says you have a very high chance. Okay? Like I said, you can watch the video. This gives you something to think about in the future. Some people may declare this as advanced ops, but there's really nothing really complicated about it. Now, I'm going to leave that screen open and sweep that gold ring. Okay? Now, when I remove this gold ring, watch what happens. We don't get any signal, do we? That's because the ID has dropped. It's outside of the box. See it there? No signal. So in the wild, look, see that nail right there? I'm not detecting that nail right there because of the way I've got this machine set up. Okay? What happens if we drop that old nickel in right there, though? Uh-oh, you see that? Look at there. Now, if I go back to upper Ferrous limit 7, which is not the default, you notice what happens. No nickel. Now, I can rotate on it and get it. But, you know, when we sweep detectors, you know, we're generally sweeping left to right. We don't know what the angle of attack is to any scenario in the wild that could exist. That's going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed.